Hello, everyone. This is Sinema77, horror and cult film lover, and we're going to be wrapping up our movie reviews for this week on my porn theme week. I honestly hope everybody enjoyed the videos. I hope everybody's liking what they're seeing so far, and hopefully this is going to do well. We're going to do, I know I didn't pick some of the movies that somebody might be sitting there thinking it's like, well, why didn't you do this one? Why didn't you do that one? It's like, well, it's like there's going to be more. I plan to do another one of these in the future, as well as like I want to do some other ones too. I want to do, especially like in October, I want to do all kinds of like horror theme weeks. Like I was thinking about doing like a witchcraft week, and like whatever. I'll get into that later, but I don't want to sit here and waste you guys' time talking about all that. But also, too, I was thinking about dabbling with the idea of maybe doing like some, like people have seen like my top 10 videos with the, sexy pics. I was thinking about doing like, like some kind of like some videos with like scary, spooky imagery with like, thrills and chills of the haunted house kind of sounds on it and stuff like that. So, it's like something maybe you could like put on YouTube, like in October and, excuse me, stuff you can like put in October, kind of like have on the background for like, just for like good spooky effect and stuff like that. I was thinking about dabbling with some of that, see if that might go well. Anyway, though, it's like I know I keep wasting everybody's time here, but anyway, yeah, this is the first. This is my first theme week. I got other ones planned. I was thinking about doing like also too like a '80s, like maybe like an '80s sex comedy week. Like review movies like Porky's and like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, stuff like that. We'll see. But anyway, though, so today, yeah, finally getting around to talk. We're already like 2 minutes in. I even started talking about the movie. Anyway, today we're going to do the comedy one. Yesterday we did the horror one, which was Life and Death of a Porno Gang. Day before that we did Lovelace. So today we're doing the comedy one, which, we're going to go for the most obvious one, is Orgazmo. Written and directed by Trey Parker and Matt Stone. This movie, what year did this come out? Trying to find it. Trying to find it. Anyway, this came out pretty. Well, that was the thing. Okay. Anyways, I don't remember the exact year this movie came out, but anyway, though. Now the thing is, it's like, all right, yeah, I know everybody's gonna be like, well, what are you gonna say about this movie, dude? What I mean? It's funny. It's funny. It's a good comedy. It's from the guys that did South Park. What are you gonna say about it? It's like, yeah, this movie is. It's freaking hysterically funny. Um, this movie's super good. I mean, the story is pretty interesting actually. It's very simple, but it's interesting. You got the character of Joe Young here, played by Trey Parker. He's he's kind of doing like missionary work and stuff in L.A. He's of course he's from Utah, which me and my brother we love that joke. The jokes in this movie. Just he and I we could sit here and just back and forth the jokes to each other all day and just laugh like hell. You know, like damn dude, you crawl out from under a rock or something? No, I'm from Utah. I'm sorry, you know. But yeah, so he's doing missionary work in LA and stuff, and obviously it's not going very well. He and the guy that he's with, they're doing they're going door to door. They're asking people, do you know about, would you like to hear about, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Because they're from the Mormons, and they got like people slamming doors in their face and everything else. Like one sweet little grandma lady and everything else. And I said, "Oh, you're from the Mormons? Okay, well, fuck right off, you soul soliciting pig fuckers," and all this stuff. And so they're just kind of going around doing their thing. Well, meanwhile, they're getting they're just going door to door doing their thing. Well, meanwhile, there's a porno being shot. They're trying to shoot a porno with, you got like Ron Jeremy there, right there, and you got like Chasey Lane, and you got Julie Ashton there, and everything else. And they're trying to do their porno about a superhero who helps save sex and all this other kind of stuff. And so they come and they knock on the door and everything else, and it's funny because it's like, who are they? And the guy's like, oh, some guys from Jesus, and cut off their balls. Is okay. So it goes to the doors. I gotta cut your balls off now. They're what? But what they end up doing though is like, unbeknownst to everybody, they find out that Joe here actually is really good at kung fu fighting. He's taking these guys out left and right, and everything else. And then the guy who's making the porno film realized, hey, this guy can fight and everything else, and he could be good for my movie. So he goes and he asks Joe. He's like, he brings him in and he's all like, what are you doing here and all. Is I just want to talk about my love of Jesus. And he's like, okay. So he comes in, and so they're talking and stuff. And so the guy's basically the guy. He's getting to the point. He's like, yeah, I want to put you in my movie and stuff like that, and everything else. And he's like, oh my God, I can't do pornographic work and stuff like that. So no, I can't do that because I have a fiance and I love her very much and we're going to get married and all this other kind of stuff. And he's all like, okay, so I tell you what we do, we just, we get a stunt cock and everything's like, huh? And that's another joke. I can't help it. It makes me laugh every time I watch the movie. It makes me laugh. And they're, okay, stunt cock, stunt cock, stunt cock. But anyway, so they hash out a deal where it's like, okay, he could do the movie. He doesn't have to have sex. He doesn't have to really like get too into it. But mainly he just has to do like the fight scenes and the action and stuff like that. So Joe, of course, he's very conflicted about it because he's extremely religious and he's, very devout to his religious beliefs and everything else. And so he goes and he calls his fiance Lisa, and it's like the girl who plays Lisa. No, they don't even show her on here. Damn. But anyway, the girl who plays Lisa, actually, she's like the sweetest, most wonderful girl in the world. She is the kind of girl like you would definitely see her as your girlfriend and stuff. And so he's explaining to her that, like he got offered the job in the movie and that, it's a good deal of money and she's happy about it. And she's like, wow, we could get married in the temple with that kind of money. And he's like, I know, but I'm conflicted because, there's stuff in this movie that's not, with it, in with our beliefs and stuff like that. And she's all like, well, I understand that, but, maybe, just kind of like pray about it and stuff like that. So, he finally, he's hesitant, but he does the movie and all kinds of funny scenes are going on there and stuff. But one of the things about people are like, well, what are you going to talk about this movie? One of the things that's actually very funny about this, and it was a deliberate choice on Trey Parker's part, was that there would actually be no female nudity shown in this movie. If there is, it's probably something that slipped by in there, but it's like usually there's no, and that's the thing. Like I said, you got porn stars in this movie. You got like Julie Ashton, you got Jill Kelly, you got Melissa Hill, you got, Chasey Lane and all that stuff. And honestly, let me show you guys something. I mean, honestly, like this here, in terms of nudity, this is pretty much about as all you're gonna see. Like there's Julie Ashton right there. That's about it, dude. Every time, they're getting ready to show nudity and stuff, it's actually a deliberate joke in the movie. Is that every time you're getting ready to see nudity in this movie, like a guy's bare ass gets in front of the image, blocking it stuff. But see, now here's like Joe acting in the movie and stuff, and like I said, that's about as explicit as it gets in terms of nudity. So that's kind of the interesting thing I think about this movie is that, yeah, it's not, there's not really any nudity in this movie. So anyway, he starts working on this movie and he meets, his, supposed to be a sidekick in the movie, Ben, played by their real life friend, Dean Bahar. And, it's kind of a joke here on the disc, cause he kept saying, we just want to get Dean to wear a dick on his head. So anyway, so he ends up playing, Orgazmo's sidekick, Chota Boy. And so, they're doing the scenes and stuff like that. And, they're just making the movie and all this stuff. And the idea is supposed to be that, he's got what they call the Orgazmorator on there. And it's supposed to stop bad guys by like, he points at, shoots them, it could be anywhere on the body. Shoot him in the face, shoot him in the leg, whatever. But, it's supposed to give him an orgasm. So it kind of like takes him down so he can take down the bad guys and stuff. So they're doing the movie and all kinds of stuff. And then, they get done with the movie. It comes out. It turns out it's a big hit. And that's one of the jokes too that's really funny about it is like, they're sitting here saying like this movie's bigger than Citizen Kane, and they're like in video stores, they're putting the videotape up next to like movies like Gone with the Wind or The Wizard of Oz or something like that, and it becomes like the biggest movie of all time. And so of course, they decide they want to do the sequel, and which Joe's like really he's not really into this whole thing at all, and even though now they're willing to pay him like way more money than what he made before, and And he's just like, I'm just not having it. I'm not feeling it, dude. I don't want to do this because, oh man, so I just want to get back and marry my girlfriend, my fiance and stuff. And so, they're talking about it. And so he goes and he calls her and she's like, she's excited because they're going to offer him way more money. So we could buy a home with that kind of money and everything else. And, and, so he goes and he starts making the second movie and everything. And one of the scenes that I couldn't help is like, I don't remember if it was the first movie or the second movie where, it's like, the Tina Rex scene where you could tell it's Trey Parker doing the voice. It's like, hi, fellas, I'm ready to fudge. You want me on top? You're going to make me come or I'm going to kick your butt. I mean, oh my God, that had me in stitches when I was watching that, man. I couldn't help it. I was laughing so hard, man. I mean, that made me laugh about as much as like the Lassie scene in Porky's. But anyway, so they're making the movie. Well, his girlfriend or his fiance. I keep saying girlfriend, his fiance. She shows up and she decides she wants to move in with him, and while he's making the movie and stuff. Which I mean, he's glad to have her there, but he doesn't want her to see like what kind of movie he's making. Well, eventually she does find out what kind of movie it is, and she's upset, and she thinks that at first she thinks that he's having sex with all these women, but he explains to her no, that it's not. He explains to her no, but she still wants him to get out of the movie, and he wants to get out of it too, but it's like now he can't because he's already contracted to do the movie, and so she leaves, and at first he's kind of like no, I'm going to stay and finish this through, and then as soon as like no sir, she like out the door 2 seconds, he's all like Lisa, he's like he loves her, he genuinely loves her and he wants to be with her and stuff like that. And then meanwhile, what ends up happening is he finds out that Ben, who his co-star in the movie plays Chota Boy, is actually a scientist, and he's um, he's actually created a real orgasmerator, and it actually works. And so like he puts it on, and so they're like going around like for fun, they're going around, they're like shooting people, and people are having orgasms and stuff like that, and so it's pretty funny. And but you find out actually he did make a real orgasmerator and stuff. Well, they find out, like some bad shit's going down. Like a friend of theirs owns a sushi bar, and they really love going to this place to eat sushi and stuff. So, and then it turns out they want to close down the sushi bar, and so, so they go and they meet these evil henchmen and they fight with them and stuff like that. And so they're kind of becoming the real Orgazmo and the real Chota Boy and stuff. And but anyway, though, so yeah, so they're doing the movie and all, and he goes and he tells the producer like, I can't do this anymore. He's like, I need to get back. It's like I want to marry my girl, and he's all like, dude, I got you under contract and all this stuff. It's like, you're gonna have to just sue me then because I can't do this. It's like, as long as I got her, that's all I care about. And so he decides, okay, well, that's you said that, so we're gonna use that. And so he ends up like kidnapping his girl and tell her, you're gonna finish the movie, or we're gonna, we're going to shoot some footage with your girl and we're going to release that. And so, so basically like now you got the real Orgazmo and the real Chota Boy. They, they get together and they go and fight the bad guys and stuff like that. Now I know you might be asking, is like, well, what about Matt Stone? It's like usually it's always Trey Parker, Matt Stone. Is Matt Stone in it? Yeah, he's in it. I would say that's kind of one of my complaints in the movie is like, Matt Stone's in the movie, but he has a small kind of supporting part. He's just working as one of the guys on the crew, but he's very funny. When he's in the movie, it's gold. So I think that's kind of why I'm complaining. But it's just he's in the movie, he's just not in it enough, you know. Because he's always coming up, like, hey, dude, I thought you were a good job in there, It's like, I don't want to sound like a queer or nothing, but I think unicorns are kick ass, and stuff like that. And it's like it elevates every time, Finally, at the point, he's all like, I don't want, goes up to Trey Parker's character, I don't want to sound like a queer or nothing, but I kind of like to make love to you tonight. So it's this movie is funny as hell. But anyway, they're gonna go and they're gonna get his girlfriend back and stuff like that. And yeah, so I mean, I don't really need to explain. I've already over explained this movie, I think, because pretty much just about everybody's seen this movie. It's funny, it's super funny. It's such a good movie, and I love this movie from the first time I saw it. It cracks me up. I could watch this movie anytime of the day or night. And of course, Mormons, we all know Mormon, Trey Parker, because now he's got his Broadway show, the Book of Mormon, that's always a theme with him. It's the Mormons. Even on South Park, they're always talking about Mormons and stuff. But anyway, though, so yeah. Now, why would I really want to talk about this movie? I want to talk about kind of like the things that disappoint me about this movie. Now, it's not so much with the way the movie is made itself, but that was like I said, one little thing that kind of disappointed me about this movie is that Matt Stone is in the movie. He's just not really in it enough. Would have been great to see him in the movie a little bit more, but um, nah, the acting is fine. I mean, everybody does a great job. Trey Parker does a great job. Everybody's good in this. Um, what disappointed me about this movie was, I mean, now I'm pretty sure now this movie's found its audience. I'm certain, and everybody who wants to see it has. The fans of South Park, the fans of Trey and Matt, they've all seen this stuff, and so I'm sure it's found its audience and it's gotten its place. I just think what disappoints me is just the way this movie was handled when it first came out, and the stuff that Trey Parker and Matt Stone had to go through to get this movie made and everything. I mean, it's like when they first came to LA, they say on the bonus features on here, like when they first came to LA, it's like their friend, Trey Parker, Matt Stone, Dean Bahar, Jason McHughes, other friends of theirs, it's like they came in, they had no money. They were, to get experience to learn filmmaking and stuff like that. They were working on actual porno shoots. So they were doing behind the scenes work on porno films and things like that. So they learned how to make movies, but they learned how to do pornos as well and things like that. But they ended up making friends in the porn community, which is why you got, some of the actresses and actors in this movie here, that's how they got like Ron Jeremy and Julie Ashton, Chasing Lane, so on and so forth. It's like they worked behind the scenes at porno films and things like that. And, but it's like they made the movie, and honestly, this movie, like I said, it's great. It's funny. It's super good and everything else. But the thing is, it's like when this movie came out, I think, first of all, I think this movie kind of got shafted because, it didn't come out. I think they made this before they even started on South Park. I want to say, I think they did. I think they actually made this movie before they started doing South Park. And wow, man, I mean, just, this movie just kind of got, just got the shaft, no pun intended. But, like for one thing, the movie got, when it finally did get released, it got an NC-17, which this is not an NC-17 movie. I mean, this movie is easily an R-rated film. I mean, I've seen movies. Hell, go look at like Kevin Smith's movie, Zack and Miri Make a Porno. That movie's R-rated, and that's got full frontal female nudity. That's, the language is definitely more explicit in that movie than it is. And this movie's got dirty language and stuff, but I mean, there's scenes in Zack and Miri Make a Porno where they're going on and on just trying to think of names for porn titles, and they're saying every dirty thing they could think of and stuff like that. This movie is like, it's not that bad, It's like this movie easily could have been an R. It did not need to be an NC-17, and like I said, they made deliberate choices, like not to show female nudity, where like Zack and Miri, that is full frontal, explicit female nudity, things like that. So, and just the way this movie was handled. And I think when it first came out, of course, it didn't do very well, and it got because of the NC-17, it got a limited release. It didn't get seen and everything else. It wasn't until like video, cable, streaming, et cetera, that it finally was able to get its audience. But that's my only disappointment in this movie, is just that it just the way it was treated. And it's like, this movie's really good. It's fantastic. I can't recommend it enough. It's super funny, but this is not an NC-17 movie. And I got to be honest, when I was getting ready to watch this for the first time, I thought, oh my God, the guys who made, because South Park was already on at that point. I'm sitting here thinking, oh my God, an NC-17 movie by the guys who made South Park. Boy, this has got to be like the most vulgar movie you've ever seen. And it's like, yeah, it's vulgar, but I've seen way more explicit than this. I've seen way more explicit movies that got an R rating, than this. But that's my only gripe with the movie, is just that, this did not need to be an NC-17 movie. This easily could have been R. I think just, I guess maybe just because of the subject matter and everything else, just MPAA must have had a bug up their ass about this. But anyway, though, yeah, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this. We talked about this enough, and of course, it's great. Like I said, I forgot to show you, there's Trey Parker and Matt Stone right there. So yeah, it's I highly recommend this. I mean, if you love South Park, you love Trey and Matt stuff, you love, if you haven't seen this, if you love their stuff, you love Team America, South Park, whatever, watch this. You're really gonna enjoy this. And even though like Trey and Matt kind of shit on it, go watch Basketball. That movie's really funny too. Yeah, David Zucker co-wrote and directed it, but you could definitely tell, like you could tell watching that movie that Trey and Matt did have some creative influence on that movie. You could tell. But hell, go get over to Trauma's website or whatever. Get their first movie, Cannibal the Musical. That movie's awesome as well. But anyway, that's gonna pretty much do it. Yeah, this movie's great. I can't recommend it enough. It's a great funny comedy. The thing I think is funny though, it says two versions of the film. One's naughty, the other one's nasty. Either way, your girlfriend won't approve. Dude, if your girlfriend's into South Park and stuff like, she could watch this shit with no problem. Sorry, I shouldn't call it shit. She could watch this movie with no problem. But anyway, that's gonna do it. Yeah, Orgazmo. I can't recommend it enough. It's amazing. It's funny. It's awesome. It's great. I just don't think it's not it's not so explicit to the point that it need to be an NC-17 movie. That's my only gripe. So anyway, that's gonna do it. To anybody who watches this, thank you for doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the theme week overall. If you did, please like and subscribe. There'll be more theme weeks in the future. Like I said, I got some other ideas planned and stuff. And hopefully everybody had fun. We did drama, we did a horror film, we did a comedy. So we kind of did we did some variations. But yeah, and that's it. This is Sinema77, horror and cult film lover, and again, to everybody who watched, thank you for doing so. I truly appreciate it. Have a good night. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.